Hey, what's going on? Robert Welkner here, live streaming right now on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. I'm all done with E3 Expo 2017, and I want to sort of play a little bit of a catch up with you guys live streaming here. Specifically, I want to talk about a brand new game that was announced from Ubisoft called Starlink Battle for Atlus. As some of you guys know, if you're subscribers to CoinOpTV, I've been following the Toys to Life genre for the past 5 or 6 years with Skylanders, Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions, among others. Even a little bit of Sick Bricks back in the day. So here's a new game to be excited about if you are into the Toys to Life genre, or as I might dub it, Ships to Life, as I was calling it at sort of E3. So Starlink Battle for Atlus comes out in the fall of 2018, but I have some additional details from a quick interview that I did with one of the developers. Now, I posted an interview with the developer up on my YouTube channel already. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But after our video interview was done, I actually still had more questions for him that and I kind of wrote some things down. So I'll talk about sort of those questions and answers in a second there, but I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a brief overview of what the game is, what it has, going on, why I think it's sort of special and interesting and unique. Let me jump over to the chat here and see who is live streaming so I can give some shout outs. Angels in chat, Chloe, P. Diddy Tube, Robert the Blastermind. Awesome, we got some regulars in the chat. So Starlink Battle for Atlus has a similar feel to a video game called No Man's Sky that came out, where there's a space exploration and fighting. You're in a spaceship, science fiction future. There's also some stuff where you go down on planets and you fly around on the planet's surface and you shoot at some aliens, some monsters, some beings you sort of explore on the planets there. Now, what's interesting is these ships are about this big, and there's a bunch of them, and you get a pilot, and they connect to your controller, and you can play this game on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of an interesting thing to have a ship that connects and attaches to your controller. Now, you play with the buttons on the controller. You sort of steer with the buttons you tap to sort of fire and shoot. But what happens with the ship on top of your controller? There you go. Imagine it is my PlayStation 4 controller, and there's a ship mounted on top right here, about that big. What happens is, while you're playing the game, you can interchange parts on the ship there, and it'll fix in the game. If you want to be a little have more heavy cannons or something like that, you can take off a gun and put on some heavy cannons. If you want to do some sort of scientific exploration, you could take off a weapon and put on an attachment that's kind of a sensor for exploration, something like that. If you guys are familiar with like light seekers, then maybe this stuff will sound a little more familiar. Light Seekers has actually kind of been doing this for their mobile game that has interchangeable parts on the characters. Is my camera does not look level. Is that better? Does that look more level to you guys and gals in chat? So that's what's going on with Starlink. There's interchangeable parts. There's also pilots, and the pilots go inside the ship, and there's different pilots. The pilots have their personalities as well that sort of affect your gameplay. The ships have different abilities. Some are heavy class, some are lighter class, and all the parts are interchangeable for the ships. So let me get back to my notes here. I wrote down that I didn't see anything where pilots got out of the ship and start to walk around at all, so it looks like you're staying only in the ships. And parts of the game have flying in outer space, and some of it is flying around on the surface, on a planet's surface. There's dogfights, there's aerial combats, there's exploration on the surface, and then you can also fly around up above on the surface, stuff like that. So here's some bullet points. Starlink has full voice acting with a team of other pilots to help you out. There's a home base spaceship that is called the Equinox. So what happens is the Equinox is floating around in space exploring, and you get to different sort of parts of the galaxy, I believe, and you explore some of those planets, and you sort of fight some bad guys, some villains, some monsters. So that was all cool. We saw during our demonstration here. Now this is a demonstration behind closed doors at the Ubisoft booth at E3 Expo. I didn't get to film the demonstration. Like I said, I did an interview with one of the developers, but I want to do a follow-up video talking about some of my impressions of what I saw there. So I got to see 4 different spaceships as part of the demonstration and on display at the E3 Expo, and also 4 pilots. Now the pilots each have their own personality, so if you have a certain pilot that's maybe daring or something like that, they'll affect how your ship sort of acts or maneuvers, or the talking in there. There's a lot of little different configurations and modifications going on with this. I thought the graphics looked very polished. It looked like a current generation video game. It looked really nice and smooth. It did not look kiddie or generic. Did not look like any of that stuff at all. It was pretty well polished there, well crafted. Plenty to see and explore, so that was really cool. Let's see, I wrote down some bullet points here. You can switch ships or pilots out during combat or during exploration, so that's nice. You can kind of just swap things out on the fly, hot swap things. Some ships are better for heavy armor, while some are better for light armor and speed. Pilots have their own personalities, and they will affect how the gameplay goes out there. All ship parts are interchangeable, and you can hot swap during a mission or in combat. Some ship parts will help the exploration side of things, and some will help with the combat mechanics. I have a Q&A, some notes that I wrote down with one of the developers here. Let me just jump over to chat and see if we got any direct questions here. Okay, see, Pete Deditube said, No Man's Sky was very disappointing to me, and it was a highly anticipated game. Yeah, a lot of people did not like No Man's Sky. I've never played it, but it was, poorly received. This Starlink has exploration and combat elements to it, and of course the toys to life aspect and the interchangeable parts on the ships. Toy Movie Game Bros is in chat and says, "What's up?" Toy Movie Game Bros says the Asian Guy Gamer. Yes, the Asian Guy Gamer has been live streaming from E3 in the Warner Brothers booth, so that's awesome. What's on up, Speed Kid? Okay, let me get to my Q&A that I had with the developer, whose name was Matthew Rose from Ubisoft, and he let me interview him on camera, and then we chat a little bit off camera. Okay, so Q&A with the developer for Starlink Battle for Atlus. I asked if there was any motion sensors, because I thought, oh well, hey, if the ship is up here, will there be any motion sensor? Will you do any of this or that? No on motion sensor. So there's Q&A question number 1. Number 2, do weapons on the ship take damage and have to be maybe replaced or swapped out? So if you're playing the game, there's weapons and stuff on the ship. Do they get damaged? You have to take them out. He said the answer was no, although the ships, I believe, can get damaged or destroyed, or maybe need to rest, and you have to swap out a full ship, so maybe restart the level. That I don't have a definite answer on. Okay, number 3, I asked about pricing and starter packs. It's very early. This game was just announced at the Ubisoft press conference at E3, and they don't have any information to share right now as far as pricing. What's in the starter pack? Just yet, so we'll find out more information about that. However, though, when it comes to Toys Life stuff, a lot of us know some of these can be expensive. He did want to stress to me that they want to make Starlink a very consumer-friendly product, and will have pricing that is consumer-friendly, whatever that means. To me, that translates into that they're not going to be too expensive, so that's good. The ships are made out of plastic, and the figures are made out of plastic. They are very light feeling there. They don't feel like very heavy-duty stuff. So I don't know if they'll break if you drop them, how sturdy they are, but they don't feel like they're anything that could be too expensive in the way of product materials. I asked here's on point 1, I asked if Starlink can be played digitally and without using ships, and the answer is yes. So if you do not want to get involved in collecting the ships, this toys to life aspect ratio, you can play Starlink completely digitally. The developer said that the entire game can be played with the starter pack, what comes in the starter pack, or you can use everything digitally, digital ships. I don't know how that's going to work, if you have to pay to download things digitally or not, or maybe unlock things or what. I'm not quite sure how that kind of goes. I asked if the ships light up or make any sounds. The answer is that yes, they have lighting effects, which I didn't see on demonstration on display there. But only the PlayStation 4 will sort of mimic having sound effects, because the PlayStation 4 controller has a little speaker in there. So some sound effects will come from that. So it'll kind of sound like maybe it's coming from the ship. So that was something I found kind of interesting. Recently, Light Seekers is kind of the new jam with Toys to Life, and those toys light up and they have sound effects as well. Problem is, not really enjoying the game all that much. It's the game's not all that fun, but the toys are kind of interesting, kind of cool. So no Light Seekers at E3 at all. Kind of a bummer. Let me get to some more stuff here. Regarding Starlink, will the ships come with a display stand? So they had these cool little translucent plastic display stands that the ships were on. I took some pictures of on my Instagram, and in the video that I posted the other day there, you can check that out. They had these cool little stands. He said that they don't come with those stands, but hopefully they changed their mind with that, because it looks really cool having the ship on the little plastic stand. It looks like without that stand, they'll just kind of sit flat, on the surface or something like that. That seems to be the case. As a toy collector, I like to have a cool stand there to display stuff on my toy shelf. I asked how many pilots and ships will there be. We saw 4 pilots and 4 ships total during my demo of Starlink. Right now there's no official amount, but I'm going to guess it's probably going to be about 10 or 12 total. I feel like as a new game, new franchise, 10 or 12 should be probably the maximum number of new toys, new ships, and stuff like that. Maybe not that much. Maybe like 6 or 8 would probably be like a good, comfortable number to have. So Ubisoft, if you're watching this, keep it light. Don't get too crazy. Don't be like Skylanders with like 60 new toys for every video game. Nobody can afford that. So the release date is fall 2018. Expect some more announcements throughout the year, some more gameplay. I've communicated with the PR there, and I told them hey, I'm interested in this game. It looks kind of fun. Keep me looped in. So I will try and provide more information when I have more stuff. If you guys are liking these videos and you want more stuff, or if you have more questions after watching this video or the video with my developer interview that I did, let me know so I can ask about that. I'll put that the link below there. P. Diddy says 10 is a good number of ships. All right, we agree on that. Let me see if there's any other comments there. Skateboard Turtle says, can I be a moderator? No, but you can watch and enjoy my live stream. I appreciate that. Lewis says, what's up? What's up? My voice is kind of back. I'm done with E3. One of my contributors is still at E3, Brian, and he's got some appointments to see some video games and check things out. We checked out a lot of games. It was very crowded at E3 and very hard to get around and do and see things, but there was some cool things I got to see and play and do, and Starlink Battle for Atlus was one of the games that I'm excited about, especially because it's got that Toys to Life aspect ratio. The only downside is it sounds like we're going to have to wait till next holiday season next year before it comes out, but that just gives us some more time to save up, build some hype, check things out, find out some more information there. So all right, thanks all you CoinOpTV subscribers for watching. I appreciate your support. We got more games, more gameplay, stuff like that coming up. I've been playing Cars 3 Driven to Win, live streaming. Got a couple videos of that up. That comes out in movies this week, so you guys will have to let me know if you go see Cars 3. And thanks so much for watching for CoinOpTV. We'll see you next time.